Hey friends, Jill here. Welcome back to Whispering Willow Farm. It has been a hot day here.
Yes, it has.
Nathan said that we broke the record for temps in Arkansas in September today.
I don't know how accurate it was, but when we were driving earlier, it said 107.
We would choose today to do all of our end of summer cleanup. So I completely cleaned out all the tomatoes in the high tunnel. At the end of the year, I like to get all my plants out. Of course, it's kind of crazy. And then I take a water hose and I wash out the entire tunnel. I have a big shop broom and we're scrubbing everything. So I did that all day, planted some more fall brassicas. Nathan put some shelves up for me out there. It was just a hot day.
Hot day.
I feel like we're kind of feeling it, but I knew that I needed to be in the kitchen tonight, and I'm actually gonna make some hot sauce out of fermented peppers.
Okay.
Nathan loves spicy things. As I have really kind of explored with different cuisines, I have learned to like spicy things, and now I kind of prefer them. When we were started making Indian dishes, I was just the smallest amount of spice. Nathan was like, I'm having to cut the recipe in half. This isn't even hot. And I feel like now I'm like, oh, I kind of need a kick to that. So we have so many peppers. Even though I ripped out all the tomatoes today, our peppers are wild. We'll probably continue to have peppers through end of November, December maybe.
Are those ahi peppers ready?
I don't know. I haven't seen those yet. I do know that we have those little bitty orange ones. They're maybe called a sprinter pepper, and they're supposed to pack a punch. So I'm gonna mix those with some of our sweeter ones, because even though we do like spicy, we're not trying to do some ghost pepper, right? We're trying to mimic a Tabasco. And then I'm also gonna do some sweet ones just so you kind of have that sweet, note at the end of it. But my counter is officially overtaken with ferments, which I'm not complaining. I don't think you're complaining.
I'm not complaining.
So let me show you what I got. So these were cucumbers I picked the other day that were just too big for pickling. We prefer to pickle our cucumbers whole if we can. So these were just kind of fresh eating. But I've got some whole pickles here. I did some garlic carrots the other day. Kimchi and sauerkraut, and then I still have my kombucha back here. I didn't forget about that, you guys. We'll do a follow-up. So one, I'm fermenting a ton of food. You guys know it's one of our preferred ways of preservation and also eating. But my friend Melanie and I are working on a really fun fermenting course. So we've been getting to experiment with a lot of this stuff. A lot of it's just tried and true recipes. So I'm gonna head down to the tunnel, harvest some peppers. We're gonna come in here and ferment some hot sauce.
Don't forget to mention the garlic.
The garlic. So we have seed garlic for sale right now. Our friend Luke lives in Missouri. We actually partner with him with our products from Agri-Grow. He grows garlic on a very large scale, and we actually got to see this when we went and visited him a few months ago.
We did a video. Can you link that video?
Yeah, we can do a video. I'll link it down in the description.
Yeah.
That way you can kind of get to know him and see some of the garlic that is now available on the website. But it's in 1 and 5 pound increments. It's a German white and Italian red. And we have to buy seed garlic. We have a hard time finding a supplier. And then we had a lot of people reach out to us if we knew anyone that sold it. And so we ended up reaching out to Luke. Yep. And he said he would let us sell some on the website. So if you need garlic, check out the link in the description. But I'm headed to the tunnel, okay?
I'm staying inside.
I don't blame you.
I'm prepping dinner.
Sounds good. All right, y'all ready to see my super clean tunnel? Freshly mopped floors. We finally got our rack so we can stay organized with our tools and just things that need to be out here. I got some celery planted today right here. And then I'm gonna put some spinach and lettuce varieties in there. I moved a table out here so that I could sit. But you guys, it's officially a clean slate. I'm not gonna lie, it feels so good to have the tunnel clean. For me, this is something I do at the end of each season. It's on that kind of seasonal checklist that I make for myself. And so knowing that all the summer stuff's kind of done, aside from like the cucumbers and stuff, but all the big things are out. Cleaned it really good. Now I know that I'm just like, I'm ready. I'm ready for fall, even though Arkansas is not. So I'm picking some sweet peppers here. I only need about 2 pounds for the recipe that I'm making. So I've got these little Italian bells that just need to be harvested anyways. So I'm gonna grab a couple of those. So since I like diversity in color, what a dish looks like matters to me. For me, you eat with your eyes, really. And so if it's appealing, then I'm gonna be more prone to eat it. And same with my kids. So I'm grabbing some of these ember peppers that have turned red. So we'll have a good combination of like red peppers, you know, yellow peppers. I've got some orange peppers. I'll probably do the shishito. So even though I am making a pepper paste, I am just gonna cut these and then make some just fermented peppers too, just to eat, maybe with a salad and stuff like that. So I'm gonna grab a few of those for that as well. Add some spice. Let's go grab some shishitos. Alright, let's finish it off with these cute little peppers I was telling you guys about the other day. These things pack a punch, so I'm only going to need a couple of them. But they're so cute, I might just take a couple more and then ferment these by themselves too. And I have quite a few that are ready. Alright, you guys, these peppers are stunning. So, look at my beautiful little basket here. We've got red, green, yellow, orange. This is gonna be spectacular. So hopefully this is around that 1.5, 2 pound mark. If I have any extra, of course, we're just gonna eat them. And if I need more to make a second batch, I'll just come down here and grab some. But let's head into the kitchen. All right, guys, back in the kitchen. Let's make this. You're gonna hear Nathan cooking dinner. So just know that's what the noise is in the background.
What? What?
Are you done? All right, you guys, this is such an easy recipe. It's one of those that it's so easy that you start to question it, right? With all of the recipes that we made for our fermenting course, Mel and I have created those recipes, so that's really fun. And this one I'm doing a variation, but it is a recipe that is from the Fermenting Vegetables by Kristen Shockey. I have a lot of her books. She is a wealth of knowledge too. But you're gonna need, like I said, about 1.5, 2 pounds of peppers. You can really choose whatever type of peppers you want. If you just want it to be a sweet paste and you don't want a hot sauce, only use sweet peppers. If you have an abundance of basil or whatever, Nathan and I want a little bit of a kick to this, so I'm doing that mixture that I told you guys about. So I'm just putting these all on here to weigh them out. And I'm trying to make sure I have a good range of, you know, hot and sweet when I'm picking this out. All right, now I have my peppers weighed out. What I'm gonna do is take a knife and just cut the top off. And then I'm gonna just throw all of these into the food processor. You're gonna leave the seeds in there and everything. Again, that's, you know, the seeds are, if you're dealing with hot peppers, that's where a lot of that spice is. So you wanna make sure that you're keeping the seeds in, and then you're just gonna pulse it for a little bit. So I'm gonna head over to the other part of the kitchen, do that, and then we'll jump right back. All right, before I pulsed it, I wanted you guys to see just how beautiful this is. Check out all of the colors. And then we did add some garlic. How much garlic did you add, babe?
Just 2 small cloves.
2 small cloves. We just left them whole. So when you are, you know, running this through your food processor, you don't want it to be super fine. You want it to be really kind of coarse. You're just trying to chop up some of those bigger chunks into smaller chunks. All right, here we go. Oh, yes. All right, so a little pro tip coming at you hot. As soon as you get done chopping up your peppers, immediately go wash your hands. If you're anything like me, I touch my face constantly, and so it only takes one time before I realize that I need to immediately wash my hands after messing with hot peppers. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna remove the lid. Lord have mercy. This will open up your sinuses, y'all. So I got a spoon because I don't really want to be touching these peppers. I want to touch them as little as possible. I'll put it to you that way. So now I'm going to add the salt in here. One thing when it comes to fermenting that's really important is making sure that you're using an unrefined salt. And so we use Redmond's. We buy it in bulk. We got these 10-pound things at a time. I'm going to add around 2.5 teaspoons of salt in here. And then I'm going to take my little wooden spatula and just stir it in really well. So what fermentation is, which if you guys are interested in this, like I mentioned, I am working on a course that'll be out next month and we really kind of deep dive into this. But there's 2 different ways you can ferment. Salt is still the base, but there's just like salt like this you would use for like your krauts and your kimchis. And then you have a water brine, which is, you know, a water to salt ratio. And so really fermenting, that's kind of why I got into it originally, was just because it was such an easy way to preserve food. It's just like if you have salt, if you have a good quality salt, you have good quality water. We use our Berkey water filter for all of our brines. It's just so easy and it tastes so good. All right, so this recipe fills a quart jar. Now I'm just gonna start filling this jar up and pressing it down really well. I'm gonna try not to make a mess. However, it's not always my area of expertise. While my husband laughs at me in the background.
I was laughing at something else.
You turd. Alright, so now I'm just going to take my packer and I'm just going to push it down really good. Alright, so now that I have packed it down, I am going to use a weight. Now if you're using a traditional crock, they usually tell you place a follower, and a follower is just something that's going to keep the vegetables submerged. And then you could put, you know, ceramic weights, glass weights, you could do a Ziploc baggie full of water. But for me, we just use these like glass weights and they work really well for us. So the purpose of the weight, or whatever it is, you know, follower that you're choosing, is just to make sure that your vegetables stay under that brine. So eventually what's gonna happen, you can kind of already see, is like it's getting liquidy. The salt's gonna go through and it's gonna create more brine, and you wanna make sure, like I'm even giving this a good push, and then I can show you guys the liquid that's forming, which is why it is important to pack it. When you pack it, not only are you getting it all level, but you're creating more of that liquid from the salt and the vegetables. Alright, so now you guys can see that there's a good amount of liquid in there, and I've got my weight in there. I also like to use fermenting lids. It's just, it makes it easier. Now, I don't know that the fermenting lids are necessary for things that are quick ferments, right? If you're at that 3 to 7 day mark, this is gonna sit for 21 days. And really, like the recipe said, that you're not gonna notice flavor until week 3. But if you can let it sit for even longer, like 3 months, then there's like really a sweet spot and it starts really releasing all these different flavors. So I already know I'm probably gonna let this sit for a while. So I've got my glass marker. I'm gonna write on here 21 days, so I know that that's the minimum, and I'm gonna write today's date. And this is something I do on all my ferments just to give myself a good gauge. And then I'm gonna take my fermenting lids. These are new ones that we're trying because we ordered a bunch of stuff from Mason Tops. I mentioned them in our kombucha video. We are actually selling all this stuff on the site. So everything mentioned here today, salts, tools, garlic, all the things, I'm gonna put a link down in the description. But essentially what these fermenting lids, whether they look like this or they look like some of the other ones we've used in the past, is it is like an airlock, and it makes it foolproof, right? So that your ferments don't explode. It releases air, so you guys can see right here through this, and it just, I like to use these on the ones that are those longer ferments that I don't have to worry about it. Now, you do want to still keep eyes on your ferment. You want to make sure that the vegetables are staying underneath that brine. And if there's any sort of like, you know, cruddy stuff that comes to the surface, just get a spoon and scoop it off. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. That's something I find that a lot of people ask on these videos is, oh my goodness, something came up, like, is my ferment ruined? It's not. Like, things are happening during that fermentation process. So you might see new things that are unfamiliar, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. And then with any of your ferments, you want to store somewhere cool, out of direct sunlight, a pantry, your countertop. I personally only keep my ferments on the countertop like you guys saw at the beginning of this video, and that's because a lot of mine I am having to make sure that those vegetables are staying submerged under the brine. I'm taste testing them often to see which day I really like them. And so for me, I think as long as you can keep eyes on them, if your pantry is like hidden somewhere at the back of the house, maybe not the best place to put your ferments. So for me, I prefer the kitchen counter. Once this is done, right, say day 21, you're tasting it, you really like it, you're gonna, if you're using one of these fermenting lids, you're gonna remove it. If you don't use one of these lids, just put like cheesecloth or a muslin, you know, cloth on it with a rubber band. That's totally fine too. Then it's good to go. You just replace that with your regular lid that came for the mason jar, and you're gonna store it in your fridge. Now, ferments last for a really long time, right? So like, our fermented carrots can last for 12 months. You know, our pickles last for a really long time. Our kraut and kimchi, these things last for a long time. But this paste, along with some of the other pastes that I've made, this will last for like 2 years in your fridge, which is really, really nice. So I think next time, you know, since we have such an abundance of peppers, I will probably make a large amount, keep it in our ferment fridge outside, and this slowly be keeping these more, you know, easy to access jars in our main refrigerator. All right, and there we have fermented hot sauce. We will check back in about 21 days, let you guys see Nathan testing this on a vlog.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, it's...
I'm a taste tester.
It's potent, right?
It looks potent.
It's so pretty, you guys. It turned out so good. I highly recommend doing all the different colors. Look at that. That's going to be a beautiful paste. I will say, I probably, the recipe said to coarsely chop them in the food processor. I probably, if I'm wanting it to mimic a hot sauce, I mean, these will break down some, but these are still kind of big in my opinion. So I probably would have pulsed mine a little bit longer, made them a bit more finer.
I personally like the chunky, so.
Just like salsa. He likes those big chunky salsa. I like that.
Yeah.
Medium chunky.
I like when I take that chip, I want it chunky.
So then I'll make one for Nate and I'll make one for me.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget, everything mentioned in today's video will be down in the description below. We are so excited to finally have a whole fermentation section on our website. You guys have asked for this and asked for this. If there's more things specifically you'd like to see, let us know. Because we're, you know, kind of just branching out and trying new things. But we would love your guys' feedback.
Yep.
Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.